Hello to my beautiful friends. It is I, Laura Von Holt, fairy boss mother, author, entrepreneur, cool person, magnet for opportunity and success, as are you. Trying something a little bit different now that we're all in social distancing, self-isolation, quarantine, lockdown, pause, stay at home, whatever your respective mayors or governors are calling it. Those of you who are watching the video version, I'm wearing my Care Bear onesie. It's no time like a pandemic to put on your Care Bear onesie, staying at home, feeling good. Okay, my people, my friends, I want to talk to you about productivity during a pandemic. Right? Who knew this would be the topic I would be talking about? I certainly didn't start this podcast being like, this is what I'll talk to the people about. But I want to talk about it because I have some thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts about, like the world and epidemics. Okay, so the first thing is I wrote a blog post called For Artists in Uncertain Times, and I'm going to link to it because one thing I'm watching, I'm very interested. I'm really watching what is happening in the US and New York. I'm in New York City, where we are the epicenter of the US outbreak. Thank you. New York, number one, huh? You can keep us at home, but you can't put us down. That's right. So I'm watching as towns and cities and states are taking different measures, and I'm watching what's happening to people. And, we are in an unprecedented time. Don't know when this has happened before, certainly not in really living memory. And I am watching, I have so many friends who are artists, who are performers, who are bartenders, who are circus performers, and writers, and people who have these creative professions, and they're yoga teachers and fitness instructors. And it's it's really wild because Broadway has shut down, restaurants have shut down, bars have shut down. They're not teaching at school. The kids are home, and my friends who are teachers are trying to move it online. In just 10, 12, 14 days, my entire world has shifted for me and almost everyone I know. And I want to say right now we are in the crisis point. And I'm looking forward, and I have a lot of hope and I have a lot of optimism. I do think one thing that gives me hope is that we are in this crazy health crisis where people are staying home because we want to keep ourselves healthy and our communities healthy. And it's the best thing we can do is just not do our usual stuff and just stay home. That's wild. And I know that and historically when things have gone so upside down like this, it does eventually unleash a ton of creativity. So I'm getting very excited for what will happen in the future, what art will be made coming out of this, how people will come together. They're already coming together and connecting in different ways. The fact that we can move schools online and people are teaching their yoga classes online, or they've moved their concerts to YouTube, all of this makes me very excited that we're going to find different ways to connect and different ways to create and different ways to produce and show our art. And we are going to have to adjust to the way we create with our energy, and the way we support our artists, and the way that we support each other with our dollars and with our energy. And I think there's just going to be all these shifts, and the idea that things will change and become that we all have to use our creativity to make different collaborations is very exciting to me. So I'm excited for what will happen to the art, but I also, here's what I want to say about what's happening right now in these few weeks where it's everything has shut down or has just shut down or is about to shut down. And everyone has totally upended, their whole lives have been upended. Even if you already were working from home, things are different. And so while I'm excited about the stuff that will be made, and when we look back, we'll be oh my God, we figured that out, and that happens out of this. What I want to say about right now is we don't have to do anything. We don't really have to do anything. We are at home, and there is a pandemic, but there's nothing that has to be done. And because I think I'm watching people get stressed out, and I know that when people are stressed out and panicking, like I myself do this, like I'll be like, I was gonna start a variety show on Instagram, and I'm gonna do. I keep having ideas, and like one of the ways that panic manifests is just being like, I know I'll do this, and you have all these ideas about the things you're going to accomplish. And which is like, fine, great. I love ideas. I want people to do things all the time. But I'm watching people have kind of panic ideas. And I think there's some sort of misconception that I want to offer an antidote to you in case this is helpful, because I feel like people are doing things just out of panic because they're trying to find something to control. They're trying to make up for something that's lost. And like, we are like right now this is a grieving period. Like our entire lives have changed. People will die and are dying, and we are afraid, and things are uncertain, and that causes upset and confusion. And that's okay. Like, and it's hard to feel those things. So I understand why we are trying to direct our energy elsewhere. I also totally get it. Like, people have lost their yoga classes. They've lost their creative jobs. Like, they're just trying to like do something and give you their Venmo link. And quite honestly, like, support them as much as you can. But I think there's this misconception like, oh, we all have to stay at home, so therefore it's like a staycation, and this is not a staycation. It's not like you were suddenly gifted like a fully funded staycation where you can now finally like get all the house projects done, and you can finally like, you know, learn that thing you never did, and now I'm gonna write my novel, and like all of the ideas I have for myself that I thought if I ever got some time I would do. Like, it seems maybe because you're at home, like now is the time to do them, but I'm letting you know that you don't have to do them. And the reason why I don't think that you have to do them right now, like in this week, in this like crazy, uncertain, grieving time, is because there's not anything that you actually have to do. And it's not it's like I said, it's not a staycation. It's not like a writing retreat. It's not like someone's like, here, I'm giving you all this money, and now like here's your time and space to create the things. Like, that's not actually what's happening. What's happening is that you have been told to go home so that you don't get sick, and so that other people don't get sick, because there is a pandemic that is spreading and people are getting sick and dying, and we're trying not to overwhelm our hospitals. Like, that's what's happening. So that's why you're home. You're not home because it's time to like get your PhD and becoming an architect or whatever you said you were going to do that you never did with your life, okay? You're just supposed to stay home because you're just supposed to stay home. And the other thing is, there's like, I think we want to meet this challenge, you know, like, this is our World War II. Like, I want to show you what I can do. And it's great. People who are like, I'm going to make masks, I'm, you know, turning my factory into making face shields, like all of that is like the stuff I'm excited about. But I also want you to remember that your entire life has been upended. Like, if you didn't work from home, you are now working from home, which is like, how do you work from home? Because everyone that you don't work with is there, and like your family's there in a way that they're not usually there. Like, you're all in your homes and your spaces and together in ways that you're not normally together for periods of time that you're not used to being together. All of your routines are disrupted. It's like, are there groceries at the grocery store? Like, can I even get the food? Every single thing that you usually do is different. Plus, you're trying to keep up with your regular job or jobs. And then if you have kids, your kids are at home. And so suddenly you're not only doing your regular house stuff, your regular job stuff, you're also teaching them school. Okay, that's now you have like 3 or 4 or 5 additional things in an environment where everything that you're used to relying on is maybe not reliable. Like, maybe you can't get the groceries that you need, or you have to go at a different time, or you have to wear a mask when you go outside. Like, everything you have to do is different, and that takes time to get used to, and that's upsetting, and it's disruptive, and I will tell you, for me personally, that is the kind of time where I'm not creative. It's when I'm not productive, because I'm just trying to like get through breakfast to bedtime. That's all. Breakfast to bedtime. That's what I'm trying to do, is eat the meals and make the meals and like maybe return an email and figure out how I get my food and my toilet paper and whatever else like all of that is like kind of enough. Just like, and also because like we're all terrified, we're all calling each other on FaceTime. Since we can't hang out, I'm hanging out with my friends more because we can't hang out. So now we're on FaceTime and it's for like an hour, and now it's a happy hour, which is great, guys. This is what we should be doing. Perfect. But it's not the time where I have to write King Lear, and it's not the time where I have to invent something wonderful or like master a new craft or like paint the bedroom that I never painted or whatever. Like, here's what I want to say to you. You do not have to be productive during a pandemic, because the end goal of a pandemic is that you survive. So the only thing you have to do is survive. If your kids don't get educated, if all they do is watch some YouTube and like paint on their little coloring books, great. Did they survive? Great. Did you survive? Great. Right? Like, you have enough on your plate besides taking care of your immediate self, the immediate people around you, and like maybe getting, if you're young and healthy, getting some groceries for some people who can't get some groceries. Like all you have to do right now is live through this. We just have to get from breakfast to bedtime, and then do it again, and then do it again, and do that again until everything is healthy enough for us to go back outside and start fixing all the problems we realize are wrong with our lives, when everything stops and we realize none of the structures that support us actually support us. But that revolution is for another day. All we have to do right now is get from breakfast to bedtime. The only thing you have to do during a pandemic is, number one, survive, and number two, don't be a problem. Don't be a problem that makes the pandemic worse. That's the only other thing you have to do. So I'm seeing my friends like, they're like, I'm failing at like keeping up with my job. I'm failing at like figuring out how a Zoom call works. I'm failing at educating my kids. I'm like, yeah, because you know what? You just became a teacher like last night. Okay? Like, that's not enough time to become a teacher. And all the teachers are like, oh wow, I have all this training and teaching and I've got to move it online. Like, everything is new. Everyone's freaking out. They're keeping up as best they can. This is not like a benevolent like writing retreat that was given to you by the universe. This is a universe being like, it's messed up and I'm trying to kill you all and you're all trying to survive. Like, that's what's happening, so you don't have to worry about being productive. Other thing I want to say, at some point I will have better thoughts on this, but this I think pulls at a thread. Other people have asked me to give them pep talks on how to divorce their productivity from their self-worth. And I'm going to say this opportunity is a great time to practice that, because it really doesn't matter right now. I mean, it does, if you have deadlines and contracts and things, like, obviously you're going to do your best to meet your obligations. We all are. But this pandemic makes things very, very clear. Like, if you haven't lived whatever impossible dream or whatever you always meant to do, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, as long as you have like food and shelter and like availability and accessibility to like medical help, like all of, like, you still matter as a person. Without, like, if you're usually sitting at home being like, I'm not writing fast enough, or I'm not making startup, and I'm not, I haven't made $1 million yet, and blah blah blah, all these things that you normally worry about, and now we're in this pandemic where it makes things really, really clear. Like, you as a person have value all on your own. Like, you're worthy of like staying safe and being healthy and being supported and being helped and being cared for if you need it, all without having accomplished all of these things that our ego tells us to accomplish. And I'm speaking to myself, because my ego, she's full of ideas, and she's like, girl, if you want to talk, I got a list of things you can accomplish right now. But I am actively, to take care of myself, and I want you to do this too, to take care of myself, I'm saying, what is really important for me to do right now? The things I actually have to do right now are like very minimal. I have to get from breakfast to bedtime. I have a couple of obligations to meet to people. I have to send my accountant my tax information. Okay? Like, that's it. And that's all I'm going to do. In a few weeks, perhaps, as I've gotten more used to this new thing where like I only go outside once a day and, I don't see people and blah, 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 I hope that I get bored. That's the other thing, is I think people are panicking and they're worried about getting bored, and they're worried about their kids being bored. And guess what? No one actually dies of boredom. They die from an epidemic, but they don't die from boredom. And And this is the part where I want to trick you into getting bored. I want you to stop doing all the things that you're freaking out about, and I want you to get really, really bored. Because when you get bored, you get even more creative, and it's even better ideas than just panic ideas. Bored ideas ends up being like really kind of genius. So I'm hoping that I run out of Netflix. I'm hoping that I run out of like feeling nervous about groceries. I'm really focusing on them because it's like, will these things deliver? What time? Are there time slots? Like New York is crazy. We're just crazy. I'm hoping that I like run out of those things to worry about, and I'm just bored, and I'm like fine with eating pasta for like weeks on end. Like who cares? Like yeah, I had a vegetable 3 weeks ago. I'm hoping I get bored because I know that's when I'll have a really good idea. And I know that's when I'll do something actually like wonderful and creative that I'll like probably really like later. But also if I get bored, it means I feel comfortable, I feel safe. Because right now, I don't think we feel very safe. And I feel bored. If I'm feeling bored, I'll probably feel safe. That would be a luxury and a privilege for all of us to feel bored. Also, it's a luxury and privilege if we're all staying home. Because there's people who are delivering my groceries. And there are people who like stock in the grocery store. And there are people who are truck drivers and hospital workers. And they're not bored at home. And they're not worried about this like fake staycation they think they're on. Like they're doing the work. And our job is to stay home. Because your only job during a pandemic is to survive. That's it. That is all you have to do. And so if you're going to do anything else, I want you to work right now on divorcing your self-worth from your productivity, because that's not what matters right now. What matters is that you take care of yourself and that we take care of each other. Whether that means we're showing up to our essential jobs in a hospital or a bank or a grocery store, making masks, whatever the essential jobs are, the essential things like taking care of our families and ourselves, you have to show up for that. But aside from all of that, we each individually, this shows that we each have worth. Like we're trying to take care of each other right now. It's weird and crazy and scary and like mind-numbing and boring and frantic all at the same time. But we're taking care of each other because we all matter. We all have value and we all have worth. And all of that, that exists on its own without even thinking like what you're getting done during the pandemic. Like whether or not you're organizing your house or like writing your journal or like creating your art or whatever. Like if you if you do make a puppet show that entertains people, that's beautiful. I want you to do that. But if you're also like, all I can do is get from breakfast to bedtime, that's fine. Because you're a person with worth and value, and just the fact that you're like staying alive right now is like what we actually care about. It's why like governors are fighting for ventilators, and it's why like people are begging each other to stay home. It's because like we care and we want everyone to get through this. So the only thing you have to do is get from breakfast to bedtime. The only thing you have to do, I'm saying it again, in a pandemic is survive it. So please be easy on yourself, be gentle with yourself, take care of yourself, take care of what actually matters, which is you and your family and your loved ones and the whole world. Just take care of them and don't worry about what you're not accomplishing. Because also the patriarchy is a mess and there's like a lot of systemic oppression that's very, very apparent right now. And we don't need to feed that. We don't need to feed that right now. We just need to make it through. Okay? So I hope that helps you. I just want you to live. Usually I'm like, start that thing, do that thing, get it accomplished, check that list. And that's actually not my advice right now. My advice is I want you to live. I want you to stay home. And I want you to live. That's all. Okay, so if you guys are watching the video, this is my Care Bear outfit. And just imagine, bing! There's a Care Bear stare. And it is sending you a lot of love, but no germs. Okay, Care Bear stare. Lots of love. Lots of love. Spread love, not germs. That's all. The other thing I have to tell you, because I always have to tell you, because I mean it, is you're doing great. Okay, I love you forever. Wash your hands. Be well.
Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down.